Hi, my name is JP Chin. Welcome to the JPM collection. My name is JP Chin. Actually, my name is Chin Jipeng, but most people call me JP. When I was at a younger day, my parents don't even own a new car in their entire life. So all the cars that my father buy was always second-hand car, old cars. So I don't know, for whatever reason, I have the liking for cars. So then when I was growing up, I tell myself that if one day I make it, I would like to have as many cars that I would like to have. I cannot explain. I mean, it's just like somehow it's built in my blood that I wanted to collect cars. I couldn't own a car at a younger age. So what I did, I started off with bicycle. Okay, at the age about 13, 14, I remember when all my friends only have one bicycle, I have 4 bicycles. Okay, this is how I collect. So moving on, then I went to motorcycle. Okay, again, my brother was one who bought a motorcycle, so I into motorcycle. I still believe in 1974, when I was a student, I rode a GT250 and a Honda 125. In 1 year, I can have 20 accidents. That's how fast I ride and how careless I ride. Then I went to UK as a student, come from a poor family, so I worked in Christmas Island, I saved some money. I went over to UK and worked. I owned my first car in UK when I was working for IBM as an industrial trainee. So my first car is an Alfa Sud 1200 Ti, okay, in UK. And I still remember the guy who sold me the car. He said that this is the bragging right of an Alfa. Alfa those days are very famous, like Ferrari in the saloon car. He said you put your key in the bar on the table, woman will come to you. So when I came back to Malaysia, the first car I bought was a Mitsubishi Galant second-hand car. After buying the car, I realized the car was an accident car. So from there, I moved on to a Nissan 130Y. Then since I was working for IBM, so I was paid quite well. I'm a top performer in IBM. I started to move up into a Mazda 626, a second-hand 5 Series, From there on, never stop. Every other year, I'll keep changing my cars. I put all my saving, all my money into car. That's how crazy I am. That's how I started my collection. You may have a lot of passion, you got no money, you cannot fulfill it. And at that point in time, the fastest thing that I can get hold on in the world is motorcycle. So I was, in fact, the first person in Malaysia to own the world's fastest vehicle. That time is motorbike. It's a Kawasaki ZX R1100. Okay, I was into motorcycle. As a club, I'm also that time treasury of the Kawasaki Motorcycle Owners Club, KMOC. I love speed, but I never take part in racing. And I was a crazy biker, My nickname by the committee in the club there is Mr. 280 because every time I go to the highway, I will hit 280, 300. That's how I ride my bike. So because of that reason, after a few years of high-speed riding, I decided to narrow down because I saw a lot of accidents. Then I decided to go into jet ski. Because jet ski, in my opinion, was a very safe spot because you fast, like motorbike, but if you fall down, you go into the water. And by the way, I don't know how to swim. I wear my life jacket. Then I got into racing because after doing that, I went to racing. The first race I did was in Langkawi. It's an international jet ski racing. I have to ride my jet ski from Kuala Kedah to Langkawi without knowing how to swim. I thought with a life jacket I can save myself. But on the way back, somebody said, life jacket only lasts you 6 hours in the water, you will sink. Then I dare not. I passed to my friend to come back. So in that Langkawi race, I did my first race. But unfortunately, the first corner, I dropped into the water. Okay, so that is how I start my racing career in jet ski. But since then, after that, I raced many endurance races, and I also own a racing team in jet ski, the one called G1 Racing Team. We race internationally. So actually my rider, Alex Wong, okay, who was then number 4 in the world as a jet ski racer, we won the King's Cup in Thailand as well. Then after a few years, I stopped because I had an accident in Labuan. When I fell off on a jet ski, the handle punctured my leg very deep. So then I stopped racing on jet ski. Then I went to car racing. So after accident in jet ski, I decided to switch to car racing. And of course, car racing, not the Porsche, the Ferrari. I buy the Honda Civic, half-cut car, Satya, all those things. So we raced in Shah Alam. Okay, my first podium I had was in Shah Alam. Then from there, when F1 track was built, so we went into more sophisticated racing. So that's why we raced the Porsche, the Subaru and all those things. And for 10 years in Sepang track, especially the Merdeka Endurance race is our forte. Every year we race, I think out of the 10, 12 years we race with my children. So we probably up in the podium almost every other year. My last race that I did was in Macau, 2012. Because racing is very expensive. So that's why from there I've gone into event management, owning racing team, and also back to car collection. JPM was statutory probably back in, if I'm not mistaken, 2003, 2004. Because I want to be more personalized to my family. So I started JPM. A lot of people thought JP is my name, M is something okay, motorsport or whatever. Actually JPM is the name of my 3 children, my 3 sons. TJ, TP and TM. So I take the last name JPM as the initial. And I designed the logo myself. If you ever see the JPM logo, it looks like a crown with 3 heads inside. You look from far. So it's representing my children, my 3 sons. Okay, so it also happened to be JP. Okay, so a lot of people associate it with me. That's how we start JPM. JPM started as a name for the one make race event that we did in 2004, 5, 6. So that's how the JPM name came about. My children, like any children, when you see the same thing every day, they got no interest one. They were more into computer games. Everything else except the thing that I wanted them to do. But as they grew up, I forced them. I would literally force them into racing. But fortunately, they pick up the hobby. Not because they like car, they like the competitiveness. Because like you play game, you want to win. Racing also, you want to win. But of course, all the young people, they want to win the first time. We say impossible. So I tried to train them into racing, and also at the same time achieve another thing that I didn't do, is creating the bonding with my children. At the age of 15, 16, I decided to put my eldest son TJ into racing. I spent more than ringgit 1 million in 1 year to move him into the Formula BMW racing, which I saw many crashes, many things. So in the 10 years of Merdeka race, me and TP and another person, one team, TJ is with another team and another team. I think after many years of racing, we burned a lot of money. So we decided to get them back to do work, business, using whatever hobby that we have as a platform to get to know, especially at that point in time. For example, we do the Integra races, okay? We get all the celebrity to participate. Some of those are bank CEO, lawyers and all those things. One of the things that I wanted to do to car was not just to fulfill my passion, it's also a platform for me to meet more people. So after many years of racing, we decided to go into business, back to business, hope to make my money. So of course, when I start collecting, they do give me some feedback, but most of the thing is sort of decided by me, because the money comes from me. Okay. Then obviously the last few years, TM was a bit unfortunate in my opinion that he didn't get to participate in racing like the 2 elder brothers did. So what I train TM now is in terms of helping me to spec car, buy car, and tell me what car to buy. So they each carry a different kind of portfolio of what need to be buy. Of course, at the end of the day, we still sit together to decide what we need to buy for the purpose that we want. You see, sometimes you buy for racing, collection, investment. So a lot of people think that buying car is just burning money. But to me, I look at the investment. At those cars that I bought, like P1, 918, Bugatti, So these are the cars I buy for investment. When we do Super GT, we were asked to do it because as Sepang International Circuit started with the program. So when we were asked to take over the program, we thought that we take over, hopefully we get funding from government. Unfortunately, we did not. But since I already accepted the challenge to take over the event, I did it. So when we did it, it's more using as a platform to enhance our credential in motorsport. Not that we race, we also know how to do event. So we went to Japan and learned. So we actually even create a different way of running Super GT. And for 3 years that we run Super GT in Malaysia, out of the 9 events that Super GT have to conduct a year, one out of the country, which is Malaysia. For 3 years running, we awarded the team and the organizer then the number 1 organizer among the 9 events. It's something that we are very proud of. But to be fair, I run the event successfully, but without the sponsorship, we lose money. I lost the money for 3 years. A lot of people say I make a lot of money. I say if I make money, you have seen me today still running, because I give up. But I can do the same thing again. We have the experience and knowledge. So this is the experience that we get. Then why do we go to Moto2? So when you go to Moto2, because that time we have our online platform, Send Delivery. We did that is to create a platform to known worldwide. And my partner, Jorge Lorenzo, is the MotoGP champion. We use them as our partner, so we create the platform. And then we use Moto2 as a platform to advertise our brand worldwide. We didn't do very well, but we still got some name out there. I actually starting car collection back in the 80s. But then, that time you got one house, you're going to put 2-3 cars. The maintenance is terrible. Okay, so I went to collection. I think after my racing career stopped, I went full-time on collections. I actually collecting start with the classic cars. Okay, the old classic cars. Then the classic car, one of the problems I face is a challenge of maintaining them when you don't have a place to park the car, so the maintenance is very high. Then at the time when I start to make a bit more money, I start to collect supercars. So I start to buy the Ferraris and all those things. And they want more for fun, for passion, not for fashion, more for fun. So every new model came out, I buy. Then I realized that every time you sell, you lose half. So then I decided to say that maybe I collect something that is more limited edition. And all these things have been going on between 1980 to 2010. In 2010, we decided to stop racing because it's too expensive to race. In the Merdeka race, sometimes one weekend we can spend up to 3 million ringgit buying tires, have a team of cars. So I said, what am I doing that? So I decided to say, why don't I start going back to my passion of collecting cars? So I remember 2011 or 2013, one fine day, because I bought a warehouse, so don't know what to do, so empty. 1 month I bought 35 cars from US. Because American cars are so cheap, I realized, hey, how come all these cars so cheap? So I buy a fleet of Mustang, all the cars. So from there I say, maybe I start with a museum. Basically in JPM collection that I have it in JPM Museum, probably it's definitely more than 100 cars that have in my collections, and also about 40-50 motorcycles as well. Enough to impress upon people to come to my place. Enough cars to it's sometimes also not the quantity, it's also the quality of the cars. Okay, most of the car I collect in my museum, other than the normal car I drive around, which lose a lot of money, I would say that the investment value has gone up quite a fair bit. For example, some of the car I buy in US, those days, the exchange rate was 310 or 3 ringgit. Today is 420, it's 1 ringgit up, 25% up or 30% up. Imagine that even if the same price today, I only make 30%. But for the American car, not only the US dollar gone up, but the value of the car to go up. Some of the Mustang that I have, it probably went up 2 times. Some of the old Porsche that I found from US, classic, also went up 2-3 times. This Lamborghini Countach, I thought I bought expensive about 8 years ago. It had gone up 3 times in US. Okay, so this is how the car prices go up. So for me, it's also an investment. But of course, besides investment, it has got a lot of other values that I have in terms of people want to know me, become a platform for me for networking as well. You buy car to show off, then you don't care about the values. If you buy car to drive around, also different criteria. For me, for car that I buy to collect is definitely rarity, okay, storyline of the car, you can something to brag about, and hopefully over time, the value appreciate, that you can recover your investment. Of course, at the moment, it's the P1 that has the most value. Let me show you why the Mclaren P1 that is one of my most valuable collection in JPM Museum. And I'm going to take a drive in the car and share with you some of the information that I can share with you on the P1. So let's take a drive, okay, in the P1, and I will talk to you about the car. There are 375 units in the market, and then I guess probably there are only 2 units in Malaysia. Mine is one of the units. My unit number is 128 out of the 375. As I'm driving now, I can see the odometer is only done 369 kilometers over the last, I would say, 5-6 years. It's more for me to collect it, so only once a while we drive out to warm up the engine, and that's why the mileage is very low. The reason that I'm doing that is because this is a car for collection, and I want to keep the mileage low so that the value not only will retain or most likely appreciate over the year, which I believe now. I've driven fast based on the acceleration, not top speed of the car. So it's very, very fast car on the acceleration. Driving, not the most ideal car because you know this car is meant to be fast, so you have to compromise on the comfort. Obviously, compare car like Porsche is a bit more clumsy, but other than that, I would say this car is perfect. I mean, for the purpose that it has. In my museum, this is one of the most precious collection. Most of the racing cars that I use are left-hand drive. Of course, the other advantages that I have over this particular left-hand car is we are driving the car on the right-hand side of the road. So essentially, you just have to judge your distance left-right. Other than that, it's no issue. I'm more worried about driving this car even left-hand drive on a left-hand drive road because I'm not familiar with the road system of left-hand drive. But riding on the right-hand side is really no big deal for me. So when I was buying this car, I actually do have problem what color to choose. And finally, I decided for the purpose of collection, I went for the typical Mclaren orange, the solid orange, not even the metallic. This is the original orange color of the Mclaren. So I went to the factory, I spec'd the car. I also matches the interior. As you probably can see, the interior of the car is a black and orange theme. Then I also take a few MSO options that recommended by Mclaren. Unique in my own way, but 375 unit, you can't tell who have the better car. So this is how I choose a car because for the purpose of collection. So when I buy a car, I don't only look at what I like, but also look at general market. You know, I'm a collector, so I want to do it in that way. Hi guys, if you think the P1 is great, wait until our next episode, the Duo, the Bugatti Duo. It's more exciting.